So, good day everyone. I am Micaela M. Santos, and my part is Agrarian Reform Laws and Acts in the Philippines. First is let us know what is Agrarian Reform Laws and Acts in the Philippines. An act defining a land tenure policy providing for an instrumentality to carry out the policy and appropriating funds for its implementation. It means this law is about how land is owned and used. It creates a plan for managing land, sets up a government group to put the plan into action, and provides money to make it all happen. First is Land Reform Act of 1955 or RA 1400. And here are the main features of the law. First is a reduction of large landholdings and consolidation of smaller and economic holdings into plots of adequate size, means breaking up big farms and combining small ones. This means taking large areas of land and dividing them up, while also grouping tiny unproductive farms into bigger, more useful plots. The goal is to create farms that are the right size to be successful. Next is B. Resettlement of tenants, means moving tenant farmers to new land. This involves relocating farmers who don't own the land they farm of to new areas, giving them a chance to start fresh with their own land. So next is provision credit facilities which are sufficient for the rural landholders, means providing enough loans for small farmers. This means making sure that small farmers can get access to sufficient credit or loans to help them buy seeds, equipment, and other things they need to run their farms. Next is letter D, the reduction of rental and interest rates in order to provide security for those who would remain tenants. It means lowering rent and interest for tenant farmers. This involves decreasing the amount of rent that tenant farmers have to pay to landowners, as well as lowering the interest rates on any loans they take out. This helps them keep more of their earnings and have more financial security. Next is letter E, securing land titles for smallholders, means securing land titles for smallholders. This means making sure that small farmers get official ownership or their own title or documents for the land they're using. This gives them legal rights and protection as landowners. Lastly is reform of the property tax structure, means reform of the property tax structure. This involves changing the way property taxes are calculated and collected, likely to make it fairer for farmers. This could mean lower taxes for small farms or different tax rates based on the size or use of the land. The Revised Agriculture Land Reform Code RA 6339. This is the law that changes some parts of the original Agricultural Land Reform Code RA 3844. It's like an update or revision to the existing rules about land ownership and farming. The original law is also known as the Agricultural Code. Upon pressure of peasant organization demonstrators who picketed for 84 days in front of the Legislative Building, Congress passed further amendments to the code. Because of the farmers protested for 84 days in front of the government building, the Congress made changes to the land ownership. So here are the features of the new amendments. First is abolition of personal cultivation and conversion to the residential subdivision as grounds for the ejectment of tenants. Means the landowners can no longer evict tenants to farm the land themselves or turn it into a subdivision. This means landowners can remove tenants simply because they want to cultivate the land personally or convert it into a residential area. Next is automatic conversion of all share tenants in the Philippines to leasehold tenants with some exception and qualification. Means the share tenants automatically become leasehold tenants. All share tenants, those who share crops with landowners, were automatically converted into leasehold tenants. So those who pay a fixed rent, with some specific exemption and a qualification, this aimed to provide more security and better conditions for the tenants. Letter C. Creation of the Department of Agrarian Reform means the Department of Agrarian Reform, or DAR, was created. This established a specific government department to oversee and implement agrarian reform programs. The DAR is responsible for land redistribution, resolving agrarian disputes, and providing support services to the beneficiaries of agrarian reform. Next is letter D. Right of the tenant on land converted to residential subdivisions to demand a disturbance compensation equivalent to 5 times the average gross harvest for the past 3 agricultural years. So it means if farmland is turned into a subdivision, the tenant gets paid for the trouble. If the land a tenant is farming is converted into residential subdivision, the tenant has the right to demand payment or compensation. This payment is equal to 5 times. So the average amount of the crops harvested from the land over the past 3 years is meant to compensate them from the disruption to their livelihood. So next is letter E, increased financing for the land reform program means more money for land reform. The government will put more funds into the land reform program. This increased financing aims to support various aspects of the program such as land acquisition, redistribution, and support services to farmers. Next is letter F, crediting of rentals in favor of the tenant against the just compensation that he would have to pay in case the land was expropriated by the government for sale to the tenant. So it means the rent paid counts towards the land price. If the government takes the land to sell it to the tenant, the rent of the tenant has already paid will be subtracted from the final price they have to pay for the land. So this helps the tenant afford to buy the land. This is related to the concept of just compensation. So thank you everyone for listening.